the Wednesday Night Blitz. Presented by...
Welcome to the Wednesday Night Blitz. I'm Frankie Tovar.
And I'm Eddie Ruiz. We're here at the Turlock weight training room where we're going to take a look at last Friday's recap between Atwater and Turlock.
Now the Bulldogs fell 45-20 to the Falcons for their fourth consecutive loss. But before we get to those highlights, let's take a look at last week's scores. Now Turlock entered Friday's game determined to beat Atwater and snap a 3-game losing streak to get their first CCC win. Unfortunately, with key players out like Patrick Green and Andrew Lopez, it was a far tougher task than they imagined.
With Green and Lopez out, there was huge holes left to fill on the offense and defensive side, and it really showed out there on the field.
With Green missing from the defensive end position and Lopez missing from the corner position, Atwater racked up 359 rushing yards, while also scoring 3 touchdowns through the air. Now Friday was the third game this season that Turlock's allowed 40 or more points from an opponent. But unlike other games where they fell short in the second half, Turlock fell apart in the second quarter, allowing 26 points from the Falcons. Atwater's Jesse Molina racked up 183 yards and 1 touchdown, while Edward Kemp racked up 69 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. But Nathan Duran, the quarterback from Atwater, had perhaps the best performance of the game, going 9 for 12 for 139 yards and 3 touchdown passes. Now Atwater's 45 points on Friday was the most points they've scored all season in the CCC.
Now Turlock really struggled as they were unable to contain anything on the edge, playing very soft, and they were missing tackles left and right.
Yeah, missed tackles and missed assignments doesn't equal victories in football.
With Lopez, he's kind of that X-factor back that we have that he can tuck in behind our big bodies up front, and he makes great reads and great cuts, man. He's a good player. Patrick Green, obviously, he's a threat, man. Anytime Patrick lines up offensively, people have to account for him. Otherwise, he could beat you deep. He could beat you inside with his blocking. He's a tough player. So they didn't have to account for Patrick tonight on defense either, and that's another thing we have to look at. It's just fundamental football right now. We're just not tackling. Honestly, at the secondary, we're having trouble covering sometimes, getting sucked in to help on the run, and we're just not in a good way right now. We're stuck. So we're going to keep working, man. Back to fundamentals. Work and run, work and pass, tackling. That's all it is. Got to get back to practice.
Atwater, they're a fast team. They're a good, fast-paced team. I mean, we couldn't stop them off the edge. It was hard for us to get it to stop them, and I mean, they shoot off the clock, and they were able to keep the ball in their hands longer and keep it out of mine and our offense as well. So that kind of hurt us.
Now the game was really tight from the get-go as Turlock's Bubba Moreno busted out for a 56-yard run that set up a 1-yard touchdown run by Javon Hogan and tied the game at 6 apiece early on.
But things quickly took a turn for the worst as Martin Winkland fumbled the ball on the first play of the second possession and set up Atwater with a good field position and their third score of the game.
Turlock responded immediately after Hogan busted out for a 71-yard run for a touchdown and put the Turlock Bulldogs within 5 points, 14-19.
Now Hogan showed his track speed on that play, outrunning the entire Atwater defense, but after that, Turlock's offense struggled.
The Falcons responded by scoring 4 unanswered touchdowns, and the Turlock offense continued to struggle as they were only able to score 6 more points after that for the remainder of the game, and they tallied only 310 yards, 183 of which were on the ground. Turlock was able to score again, and it was Bubba Moreno's 38-yard completion to Meneli Demisi that set up a 2-yard touchdown run by Demisi.
By that point, however, it was all points for Pride as Turlock had no chance of getting back into the game.
Go!
off the season great, 4-0, and then I think it was the bye week that hurt us, and like it's just been downhill. We've been working hard to have good practices, just we can't execute the game plan all the way. I'd love the ball a little bit more, but I mean, I have faith in our coaches and their play calling and what they want to do. I'm not a selfish player. I love my team, and whatever coach wants to do, I'm all for it. I'll help him out, but I mean, when the ball's in my hands, I try to make the most of it. It's back to the books. Tomorrow morning starts for me. I mean, watch film and watch their film and start thinking of game plans and helping out the coaches as well.
Turlock is now 4-4 overall and winless in league and must win their final 2 games against Buhack Colony and Pittman High to have any chance at playoffs.
Now Buhack's really fast, very physical, and they'll have the home field advantage.
Should be an interesting challenge for Turlock.
Basically this week what we're really focusing on is basically holding the edges down. We really want to make sure that we're rallying the ball inside, so we're going to have our outside backers really flying off the edge, making them force their way inside and make a long drive rather than have a big play like last week where every time they hit the edge, it was something huge. Getting Green back and Gaffney back, it really changes our defense up. We can kind of go back to our old school D that we played the first 5 games. Ride or die, man. Every game to us is basically a playoff game, and we're telling them that if we are to make it, through these next 2 games, that we're going to have the longest season for the playoffs because it's win or lose and go home, because it's 6 to get in, and we're 4-4. UHAC's 4-4. So we're both fighting for the same thing, and it's basically trying to get that playoff spot. And any loss that we get, it's over.
And now let's see who else is playing this Friday in the area. Now we'll be at the Del High Turlock Christian game this Friday, where one team will walk away with their first Southern League victory of the season. Now make sure to tune in next Wednesday at 7 p.m. for that game between Del High and TC. For Ruiz, I'm Frankie Tovar. Good night.